Hello, I'm Bill Spurlock, Director of Rutherford County Schools. I'd like to take a few moments to speak with you on career and technical education. The goal of every educator is to prepare students for college and careers. Now, we understand that college lasts a finite amount of time, whereas a career lasts a lifetime. Currently in the United States, college student loan debt is at $1.7 trillion. Now, this is not only unsustainable, it's unnecessary. Our mission statement in Rutherford County Schools is to empower today's students to grasp tomorrow's opportunities. These opportunities not only exist in our core classes, but they also exist in our career and technical education classes. We have 39 programs of study, and within each one of those programs of study, we have a multitude of career clusters. We have in our classes the ability for students to not only get high school credit, but also college credit. And some can even take an industry certification test and be prepared for some of the most challenging and the most rewarding careers. We are strong proponents of career technical education.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Amy Denton with the Murfreesboro Police Department, coming to you today to talk about the job of a police officer. The thing about the job of a police officer, no 2 days are ever the same. Usually from 1 hour to the next, it's completely different. Our officers answer calls from loose animals to car crashes to major crimes. If you think you want to go into law enforcement or anything in the criminal justice field, you've got to stay in school, keep your grades up, learn a second language, that never hurts, and just be a good person. Learn as much as you can. Turn off the TV sometimes because it's not as easy as they make it look on TV. To become a police officer, you have to have a high school diploma. Some college helps also. If you don't want to be a police officer, there are other jobs within the Murfreesboro Police Department. You could be an emergency dispatcher, answer the 911 calls, make sure help gets to those who need it. You could be a crime scene tech. They go out on major crime scenes, take the photographs, catalog the evidence, then come back, work in the lab, and run the test that the officers and the detectives use in the courtroom to help prosecute a suspect. I think that almost everybody should study criminal justice. We all live in a society that we want to be safe, and that means that we have to have some law and order. Even if you don't know about the career field you want to go into yet, you could go to the criminal justice classes and learn about your rights as a citizen just as much as you could learn about how to become a law enforcement officer or a criminal justice professional.
I chose criminal justice as my pathway class because originally I wanted to be a lawyer, and I knew criminal justice would be a good way to introduce me into that field. Now I want to be a forensic toxicologist, and criminal justice helped me figure out that I wanted to be a forensic toxicologist. Some things you get to do in this class: you get to examine a crime scene, you get to take down fingerprints, like take down your own fingerprints, other fingerprints, like the whole thing. And you get to wear these goggles that blur your vision so you can know what it feels like to be under the influence. And that was probably like one of my favorite things I did. Some important skills or things I have learned in this class is what you should and shouldn't do when you get pulled over. Just learning like just the basic stuff, like when you get pulled over, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, keeping your hands on the steering wheel, just stuff like that. Knowing what officers can and can't do once you get pulled over, and knowing what you can and can't do once you get pulled over, I would say it's a really important skill, especially coming into high school. A lot of you are going to be getting your licenses probably by your sophomore year. It is a really good thing to know what you should and shouldn't do and what the officers should and shouldn't do when you're getting pulled over. And even if you don't have a license, it is still a good thing to know as a passenger, if you're a passenger in the car, what you should and shouldn't do, what the driver should and shouldn't do, and what the officer should and shouldn't do. I feel like that's a really important thing that a lot of people should know. My favorite experience was when we went on a field trip. We went to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation lab, and then we went to the Murfreesboro Police Department. At the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, that is when I realized forensic toxicology is what I wanted to do. I kind of we toured the building. We went to like that section of the building, and it was just really fascinating to me. After that, I went home, kind of looked into, and realized that's what I wanted to do. At the Murfreesboro Police Department, we got to see like when you call 911 and the people who answer the dispatchers. We got to see what that looks like. They have this cool screen which kind of like puts you in a scenario, like a traffic stop scenario. That's really cool. I feel like you should sign up for criminal justice because it's one of those classes where what you learn in this class, you are more than likely going to use out in the real world. Whether you think that you aren't or you are, I can guarantee you a lot of the stuff you learn in this class, you are going to use out in the real world, which I feel like there aren't a lot of classes like that, which is what makes this program really cool. One thing you should know about criminal justice is it is not one of those electives where you just take it and you just lollygag or just like mess around. Criminal justice, you actually work and you actually have to try hard in the criminal justice program, which is something that I really like. It's not one of those classes that you can just mess around in. You really have to sit down and you really work, and the work is easy. It's not that hard. Like if you really try, it's not that hard, and that's one thing I like about criminal justice.
Hello there. My name is Daniel Parkhurst, and I am a criminal justice teacher for Rutherford County Schools. The criminal justice pathway comes out of the law and public safety cluster for the state. I'm here to tell you about the criminal justice courses that you can take in high school. I am a former police officer. I did that for 10 years. I also grew up in a law enforcement family. And so I grew up very passionate about law and public safety. That was a heavy focus in my household as I was growing up, and it just kind of stuck with me. One of the great things about this pathway is that criminal justice is very hands-on after the first year. Now, the first year is not very hands-on because we're working on laying a foundation for all of the other information that you're going to learn in your second, third, and fourth years in criminal justice. So that foundation is necessary, but unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of hands-on we can do with that because a lot of it has to do with definitions and theories and different perspectives on things, how things are set up, organizational details, things like that. Now, once you get into CJ2, there is a heavier focus on law enforcement in CJ2. And so with that one, we actually have the students learn how to handcuff. You learn how to make traffic stops, how to make felony traffic stops, how to search an individual, how to search a building, things like that. And so there's a lot more hands-on in CJ2 that is really interesting stuff. Basically, you learn why police officers do the things they do and how they do them. And then in CJ3, you would get to experience crime scene investigation and learn all about forensics. And so there's labs that go with that, interesting labs like learning how to dust for fingerprints, how to search a crime scene, how to process an entire crime scene. And so that's really interesting information. If you're a fan of shows like CSI and things like that, that's what we're talking about, is being able to do all of that stuff. And we show you how to do it the real way, because TV is not really portraying that the real world way that it's done. So CJ4 is set up to be a work-based learning program. However, that's a little more difficult with criminal justice, and we are working towards that end. But for some of the schools, that it's operating more as a capstone course at the moment. So some of the things you'll get to experience, we've talked about the hands-on activities, but there's also the guest speakers that we have and some of the tours that you may get to take. And we have a lot of industry partners with various agencies such as the Secret Service, the FBI, Alcoholic Beverage Commission, the TBI, Murfreesboro Police Department, Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. So we've got a lot of different law enforcement agencies. We also have private security partners and attorneys and judges that assist us. A lot of times we'll have these people speak to our classes. And so you'd get to hear from them about, what their job's like. You'd get to ask them questions. We have a lot of support from the criminal justice community, both locally at the state level and federally. And so that's amazing for our students because they really do get a lot of good information. And especially if you're interested in pursuing a career with one of those agencies, one of the major points that they cover is what you need to do between high school and applying with them. So they tell you what college courses you need to take or what majors you need to pursue, what certifications you need to try to get prior to applying with them. They tell you what things they look for in their applicants. And so this really is a great stepping stone into one of those careers if that's what you want. They give you the keys to success. It's at that point up to you to use them. It's an amazing program. If you have any interest whatsoever in pursuing a career in either law enforcement or private security or corrections, even if you want to be an attorney or a judge, we give you a lot of useful information. And the information that we provide you is information that is useful for the rest of your life. Because not only do we teach you, how to be a police officer or what it's like to be a judge or an attorney, but we also walk you through a lot of things that everybody needs to know. It's a great program. We have a lot of fun. We learn a lot. We work hard. If it sounds like something you might be interested in, I encourage you to sign up for Criminal Justice 1. I have no doubt that you'll enjoy it and you'll be back for CJ2. Take care, be safe,